Here's Steve Stone, does the White Sox, one of the Cy Young Award winner, one of the good guys. He's going to help us with these Chicago moves here on this busy Tuesday at San Diego. Steve, long time no talk. Welcome. How are you? Okay, pal?
I'm doing terrific, Christopher. It's nice to see that the show is going well. You guys on MLB top to bottom do just an outstanding job. It's where I get a whole lot of my information, so to me it's entertaining. But you're right about the White Sox moves. I know you let the show off with it, and Rick Hahn had a lot of work to do along with Kenny Williams this offseason. They needed a left-handed run producer, a guy that could take the spot of Dunn and maybe another left-hander, but they got LaRoche, and that was good. They needed a closer. You got a lot of young guys vying for the job. They got Robertson, and that's going to take a whole lot of pressure off some of the other young guys who are aspiring to be the closer. Now they'll be set up men and hopefully have a Kansas City-type bullpen approach because there's some good arms out there. Zach Duke is really going to help because they needed a left-hander in the bullpen, and he can certainly do that. And with the addition of Jeff Samardzija, that's starting rotation. And one of the guys you left out is Carlos Rodon. This is a guy that provides something very interesting coming to spring training. You know, Chris Sale was given a very short time in the minor leagues before he burst on the scene out of the bullpen originally and then into the rotation to be the number one starter. If Rodon has any kind of ability like that, and you think he would, being the third pick in the draft, or everybody thought he would be one or two, depending, this could be a real interesting and maybe the best starting rotation in the division, especially if you subtract Scherzer from Detroit.
Wow, phenomenal. Did you see this coming, Steve? I mean, I knew the White Sox, once they got Duke, they gave him a big contract. LaRoche surprised me because we all heard about the Marlins. I knew they were going to be active. I didn't think this active. Are you surprised the White Sox have been this busy here so far?
No, I'm really not all that surprised. First of all, Rick Hahn really knows his business. He served a long apprenticeship under Kenny Williams, who also knows his business. And so I believe I think they got about $46 million or so coming back in after last year, and they had that money to spend. It's not surprising to me. And the best thing that this can do, as well as the competitive balance in the division, is it shows the fans of the Chicago White Sox that this team is trying. Yes, they are on somewhat of a rebuilding path, but it looks like the future is now. When you make these moves, when you pay what you pay for Samardzija, and I'm not going to tell you these guys are great, but Josh Phegley was a second-round draft pick. They thought he would eventually be the number one catcher. Simeon looks like he's got all kinds of skills. The question is he better a swingman or a starter? Chris Bassett showed last year that he has a feel for pitching. Obviously, the stuff isn't as great as you would like, but a feel for pitching sometimes is good enough. So I think what Billy Beane did was restock his minor leagues after last year, help some of the major league teams, but Samardzija is a huge addition to the White Sox.
Oh, huge. I wonder, with the Cubs being so active and all the things going on with across town, I wonder if that galvanized ownership here, you know what, we can't let the Cubs go crazy and do nothing. I wonder if that galvanized the ownership a little bit. What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
Well, I think Jerry really wants to win again. I mean, 2005 seems fairly recent by Chicago standards, but realistically, Jerry wants to win again, and I don't think he was comfortable just sitting back and allowing the Cubs, and all the talk about the Cubs youngsters. And by the way, they're well-deserved. They've got some good young players in that organization. They've got a couple of guys leading the ship in Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer who know their business. McLeod is a great evaluator. I think the Cubs have a very bright future. That being said, this is probably not going to be their year. They will have some good young players up, and I think Jerry felt that with the foundation of the White Sox pretty decent, even though they won 73 games last year. With the foundation pretty decent and a few additions, this team could get they could get respectable pretty quickly. And I think that in your last conversation that you had, it was pointed out, and justifiably so, the division is coming back a step or so, especially if Shields leaves Kansas City and Scherzer leaves Detroit. I'm kind of surprised Victor Martinez signed a 4-year deal. Not that I'm surprised he got 68 because he's a pretty good player. But I thought if he was deducted from Detroit,
then
that would be a big problem. They're going to miss the Torrey Hunter leadership in their clubhouse also, by the way.
Oh, I totally agree. Now, how about Samardzija getting him signed, Steve? What do you think? Is this going to play itself out, let him sit for a year, and then they'll worry about it next winter? Will they go out there and try to invest in some sort of negotiation with him? With all these pitching contracts, he might want to sit tight. Is this a one-year rental? What's your take on how they're going to handle Samardzija here?
Well, look, it's going to start out to be a one-year rental. And it gives you a couple different areas of flexibility, Christopher. One is if this team is out of the race, this White Sox team is out of the race, you got a pretty good bargaining chip in July or maybe the end of June to move on to a team that is a contender, especially with a guy who's in the last year of his contract. That being said, you have Quintana for a while. You've got Chris Sale for a while. If you could tie up Jeff Samardzija at a reasonable price, and I'm not sure that there are reasonable prices anymore for starting pitchers, but Jeff's not one of those 25 or 26-year-olds. He's a little bit older, but he's got a fresh arm because he didn't have the kind of abuse early because he was a football player also.
Right, he's a great competitor.
He would be ideal.
Now, I mean, he's a good competitor. Good competitor.
He's a tough guy. You love him on your ball club. He could be one of the leaders of this team. This team, with Konerko retiring, this team is looking for a leader. I think when Jose Abreu starts to really understand English a lot better, and he made great strides last year, and when you have a guy who has the talent that he has, and they ask him for his number one goal is to sing in English the national anthem at a game at U.S. Cellular Field.
That's a very good sign. Excellent. Yes.
That tells you that he's got a whole lot of things going for him. I think he will be one of the team leaders. I think they'll make an effort at signing Samardzija, but when you look at the fact that Scherzer turned down $144 million. I'm not going to put Samardzija in the class yet of Scherzer.
Right.
But Samardzija has a pretty decent year in the American League in a very much of a hitter's ballpark. He has a decent year. His value goes up. I think the Sox would like to sign him, but I think they're going to keep their options open as far as that's concerned.
Steve, great job for giving us a few. Gave me a good update. White Sox is going to be a factor. Good to have you with us. Keep up the good work. We'll see you soon.